stunning. And I'm pretty sure with heroes like Phoenix now being around, Sergeant Hammer, those heroes are going to be right up his alley.
I would agree. We'll have to find out and see. As for now, we are heading to the Infernal Shrines. Another map that would be really good for Hammer, so wouldn't be too surprised to see that returning.
Yep, that is indeed a very nice map for Hammer. And Whitemane continues to be banned out. Oh, we have yet to wait, guys. I'm sorry.
6 out of 6 bans. Teams, please. We want to cast a new hero. Let us cast a new hero.
It's so funny, too, isn't it? With Whitemane being a very much team fight heavy support, you know, where you want to have that, you want to basically be in the thick of things all the time, deal damage and stuff, which normally should fit the playstyle of China so well. It's just banned every single time.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So we see Genji getting removed as well. What would be the last ban? Maybe Sergeant Hammer themselves. It's pretty good on this map. If not, then a tank.
Yeah.
Solo laners, Yarel would still be pretty reasonable to ban out. She's still pretty strong. Blaze as well would be pretty scary.
Yeah, Blaze, of course, is always one of those heroes, right, that can really ruin your day, especially if you're trying to go for a very burst type of composition. But Phoenix, you know, is a solid ban. Can't really argue about that. Let's see what they're... I would have loved to see DSL on that Phoenix, by the way, because when he was in his prime, that hero wasn't even invented yet, right? It wasn't even in the game.
Yeah. There's a Reyna, a hero that was as good as not in the game when he was playing.
Yeah. It was in the game, but not in the professional scene, at least. That's pretty cool. Are we going to see another Sergeant Hammer? Honestly, though, I wouldn't mind Sergeant Hammer, Decker Kane right off the bat, because I think those two worked so well together on Sky Temple.
I mean, Decker Kane especially is a great opening. Otherwise, puts priority on Diablo. There he is. And, Alexstrasza, yes, this is Infernal Shrines. I forgot about that. So, excellent choice here. But that does open up Deckard Kane for BTG, which is also completely acceptable.
Yeah, and Deckard Kane has a couple of cute tricks up his sleeve to deal with Alexstrasza, right? As long as she's not in dragon form, which is definitely the signal for your team to disengage, unless things are looking really good for you. He has that Emerald Cube, and Emerald Cube is really good against Abundance. He's really good against all those healing circles, so a well-played Deckard Kane can really sometimes ruin Alexstrasza's day, but Leoric makes it back into the mix. More percentage damage against Diablo, and more wave clear around the shrines. I don't hate it.
Oh, it's over Yarel and over Blaze, so it is commitment to that team fighting style. Leoric, of course, has fantastic clear on this map, but you're not going to be able to protect your team very well.
That is correct. I mean, unless you drop some sort of fancy defensive entomb, there's not really a whole lot you can do. So he's more like a double soaker, more like a lane pusher. He's great around the objective as well, as we said. Great AoE damage. And also quite the late game beast. I still remember all those games in China that we witnessed Hugo on Leoric, with that AoE damage coming in from the AoE around him from the Drain Hope. Super
There's
good.
that hammer ban. So we're going to get to see DSL on something else. It is interesting that we're seeing actually Druid on the Deckard Kane, by the way. He's only played it 4 times and has only won once.
Yeah, that is an interesting thing you mentioned. Normally, Druid excels on heroes like Malfurion. He plays a lot of Alexstrasza really well.
Malfoy rate is pretty absurd.
It's insane. And Malthael now, speaking of insane things, that is going to be some sick damage.
Makes a lot of sense. Malthael is a solid hero in general on this map, especially if you want to go Tormented Souls. You're going to get some good value off the shrine. But if not, then you're still going to get some good stuff against Leoric. You can lane against him without having to play with a tanky hero who's going to give Leoric super value with the Drain Hope. And if not, you can go for Last Rites with no chance for Blaze, with no burst protection from Deckard Kane. Last Rites is going to get some monstrous value if they go for it. And there's another hero that it could be good against, that Jaina, if you can get him before the Ice Block.
All right, double alliance deployed here. Jaina and Muradin side by side. So, I reckon it's going to be Loktar on the Leoric if they don't swap roles mid-series, which is pretty interesting. So we're probably going to have LLK on Jaina or Raynor. And,
Yeah, I'd say okay on Jaina probably, and dancing on Reyna probably. As we see a Junkrat to finish off the draft of RPG. That's going to be played by DSL. And yeah, it's going to be Loktar. Looks like he's permanently on that offlane now.
I think so too. Unless we see a crazy triple squishy backline game coming in from beyond the game, it's probably going to be the setup they like to go for. Here we see DSL. Probably not on the Junkrat. Yeah.
He is the Junkrat, as we
did he's the Junkrat? There we go.
Yes.
Okay. Cool stuff.
Neat to see. Yeah, cool stuff indeed. So, let's prepare to get this underway. Actually, before we jump in and talk about the draft a bit, some housekeeping on the other players who have name changes.
Yep.
TWT was changed to obviously TWT. I put an extra T in there accidentally. Hikari is Kiaru, as we already mentioned.
Tetcher, try to pronounce Kaitu's name change. I dare you.
Where is he? He's right down the bottom. I'll get to that one. Yeah, Lotus is what used to be Feed B. Bad used to be Andre. Kiji is Hape, as we already mentioned. Stukov has changed to Stugos. Thank you, friend.
Thank you, friend. I was going to say the same thing.
Kaitu has changed to Yitskuk. Sixth is LK. No is now Mercy, which is fantastic. And Oasis is Malthael.
Shame on you, actually changing your name into another hero. How dare you?
Well, if he had enough letters, if it wasn't for the fact that Team Nut took up most of the name box, I would have liked it. No Mercy. That would have been great. Wait, we know there's room because 7 Milk fits in. He could have been No Mercy. What a name that would have been.
Absolutely true. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to the Infernal Shrine for the first time today. On the left-hand side, once again, is RPG, the rocket propelled grenades with MJ Free Show, C, Pa, and DSL.
And on the right, it is Beyond the Game with 619, Dancing, Druid, LLK, and Loktar.
Loktar already being victorious in that last game. Played a really, really mean Dehaka, so kudos to him. Now he's on that Leoric, and Leoric is one of those hit or miss heroes. Either he looks extremely good, or he looks like a cute puppy, trying to damage heroes, but only, petting them.
So then, you already mentioned that it's double alliance. We also have double Diablo villains.
True.
Coming in on the other side, and also one on the side of BTG, but he is in count. He's a skeleton. Skeletons are adorable. As 619 moves in, quick stun onto C. To start off with. That's Redemption Hanzo.
Oh, Redemption Hanzo. Good observation here. So auto attacks for the win. Whenever Hanzo lands 2 consecutive, it doesn't have to be consecutive, but 2 auto attacks on the same target within 10 seconds, he's going to acquire a stack. And once he's fully stacked, he gains bonus attack speed, which is pretty sweet, especially when paired with the sharpened arrowheads at level 7, which he's probably going to go for, which reduces armor on enemy heroes he auto attacks.
We'll have to see if he goes for ignore all distractions as well, because that would be really weird. Because, yeah, he gets extra range, but it doesn't work on the shrine. You miss out an explosive arrow, which is really good on the shrine. So, not sure. Quick stun on Junkrat, but doesn't even need to use this concussion mine. He is close enough to his base that he can walk away.
Really interesting fact here, by the way, guys. DSL, who you can see on the Junkrat right now, formerly known as Yen Zhao, when he played with SBT, we mentioned this before the game started, right? He usually stuck to auto-attacking heroes like Vala, for example. We saw him on other heroes like Cassia as well. But now, I think for the first time in our history of Chinese, as being like HGC China commentators, we say, well, kind of a mage. I mean, I won't say Junkrat is like a pure mage like Jaina or Li Ming, but he's definitely more ability heavy. By the way, I'm having some lags on the clean feed. Okay.
Lots of.
Let's actually see what our latency is.
I'm back to normal. Like I didn't get circle lags. I just got stuttery lags. But I have apparently jumped up in latency. I'm at 11.3.
Oh, 11.3. I'm definitely gonna have to refresh them because I'm at 9.
Okay, as will I. Then we'll both refresh and see what happens.
Refreshed and going back to 5. Ooh, that's very low. Going up a little bit now.
Give it a sec. Give it a sec. So stabilizes for after a second. 6.47.
I'm at 5.5. I think that'll do for the game.
That's a full second.
All right, can you?
That's pretty long.
You just continue casting. I'm trying to get this done.
Okay, so hang on. I've done one more time. 5.9.
That'll do.
What are you on?
5.6, 5.7.
Dope. That'll do fantastically.
Sweet sauce.
As we're back in, Junkrat getting harassed. Junkrat leaving.
Junkrat leaving indeed. Doesn't want to fight the Muradin here. By the way, we see a more standard Diablo build up to this point, going for the Flames at level 4, helping him to stack as well whenever he hits enemy heroes.
one day a pro player will join in on my very fun life leech build. It's not great, but it's fun.
I'm still curious to see the overall like auto tech build, making it.
Yeah, that's
the one you're talking about.
Suggesting. Yes.
Okay.
You take the stun healing at level 1, which I can't remember the name of. You go for life leech, diabolical momentum, the increased attack, apocalypse or lightning breath, your choice. The increased attack speed, 3 showing a little bit of danger, Stormbolt misses though. The increased attack speed, and then the 2 charges of overpower. You have an overpower every 1.25 seconds, and you have a charge basically every 3 seconds, or every 4 seconds.
I guess if there's one region who might be willing to experiment with it, it might be China. So
yeah, it's just consistency. If you have the opportunity to auto attack consistently, then you will gain value. Full stop. As we've seen him going on 619. Dropping him low, but nice scroller ceiling on C. But the quick healing from Alexstrasza keeps him alive.
The healing was actually insane here by MJ. I definitely thought C would fall on that Diablo. They pushed the enemy team all the way back, maintaining a strong lead in terms of skeletons as well. That's pretty much going well for RPG. The only thing they need to be on the lookout for is C's health pool. DSL took a little bit of healing already, but here goes BTG. They took the healing fountain. They're coming back fully rejuvenated, and they're trying to keep this shrine clean.
Malthael's already a little bit low on mana, still has that touch of death and is already using it as Muradin is getting dropped a little low but gets his armor applied. Anti-healing from Deckard creates a reckoning for Malthael.
No way. They get one kill eventually though.
Kill. Loktar's dropping low, he might actually die to the minions. Clutch motion from Deckard
Grenades.
There. Loktar escapes, the grenades not able to find him. Loktar gets out, it's 30-23, and despite that kill on Malthael with Muradin dying, RPG able to take control.
It was a good trade, and if you guys paid attention, right, Beyond the Game already used their healing fountain, so they had cooldowns on almost every single hero there, and that basically meant that RPG, with only losing 1 member, but trading also 1 member and taking the healing fountain, they reigned supreme with the lead and skeletons they already had. So this was very patient play, which not necessarily used to see from RPG, so really, really good improvement. Look at those interrupts on the dwarf. 619 getting pummeled back and forth.
DSL drops out by dancing, so a nice counter kill by BTG.
Yep.
This is going to allow them to focus onto that Immortal. Dancing, by the way, once again going for ace in the hole. We're finally moving a bit away from that Exterminator as we see them to move down. We are seeing those piercing arrowheads coming in, sharpened arrowheads, sorry, coming in for Hanzo once again, that armor reduction.
It was pretty cool though, like that was a 5-man defense for Beyond the Game, right? And as a result, it was kind of easy for them to find that kill. However, on the flip side, we also saw RPG with Malthael in the bottom actually stealing a little bit of soak, or getting a little bit of soak in, and stealing the mercenary camp as well. So that is pretty solid. It's not like RPG did only lose things in that top engagement, but they also managed to get a little bit of map pressure back themselves, actually controlling yet another mercenary camp. Malthael, yeah, with that level 1 talent on a pale horse, rotating like a psychopath. He's so fast.
How does a psychopath rotate? That was an interesting
I guess you do it very
example.
swiftly and probably also very unpredictable.
Very enough, very erratically, I would suggest. As we do see the continued control of the map, at least for the moment, by RPG, as they have full control of the spot lane, and like you mentioned, that on a pale horse is giving him so many rotations, but with that extra kill, BTG will hit level 10 pretty soon. So now the question is, what can they make out of it? They immediately beginning to move, onto the other side of the map. It's going to be a March of the Black King coming in from Loktar. As they stun the Junkrat, they don't have anyone in position to follow up, so they even with that 10, they're unable to make anything of it.
Okay, Lightning Breath coming in for Diablo, so we're not going for a stun combo. Instead, more slows and AoE damage, which is nice. I think overall Lightning Breath, especially in those shrine fights, gives you so much value. Not only against enemy heroes, but also, of course, against the objective, right? So many skeletons will be fried by the Lightning Breath. Let's see, Malthael's holding to it. So is Alexstrasza. Lifebinder is no thing out of the realms of possibility.
619 has to burn the Avatar. That is a Last Rites quick pick here as Malthael comes in from above. If Last Rites does not land here on someone, then that is going to be a disaster. But no, speed boost, they escape. Diablo tries to get Dancing, Last Rites, and Dancing goes down. But Malthael will die in exchange thanks to the rotation of Loktar body blocking him.
Yeah, he will die as well. He got that stack though, so I think in terms of overall value, if you trade 1-for-1, you get a little bit of extra value. Look at Diablo finding Druid, gets a little bit of damage done onto himself though.
Yeah.
The Water Elemental was still there as well.
The Water Elemental finally expires. C is able to flee. And with Malthael back soon, he was still able to get a stack, and I was able to get lag.
Same old lags. Sorry guys, the clean feed is having some issues right now. Hopefully it's going to be resolved pretty soon. I'm looking at my latency while we enjoy one slide of one image to the next one, but I think it caught up already. My latency is currently at 9.9, 10.4.
Mine's still stabilizing.
Okay, waiting for it.
13.8. Let's refresh.
All right, we're going to refresh this once again. 5.6, 5.7.
6.7. I'll refresh again. Try and get to you.
I think I went up to 6 seconds there as well. 6.2. Yeah, 6.2 seems to be mine.
And 5.9. Jumping up to... Muradin escaping. Up to 6.3. Up to 6.5.
Nice.
That'll do. As we see them moving on to the point. The Dragon Queen already used here, but they were unable to kill Muradin. So now Muradin begins to move back in. He eats a couple sharpened arrowheads. But Loktar is in position. Master of the Black King is available, and he's going to have to use it if he wants to live. No, last right finishes the job. But Free Show, again, goes down after dropping this last right. But it was a 2-for-1 this time.
2-for-1 this time, and once again, the Punisher goes over to RPG. Like, I have to question Beyond the Game here. They basically fought through the entire duration of the Dragon's Queen. So, I mean, sure, the fight went well for them because they were able to get rid of Malthael, but that's usually not the way you behave, right? And sometimes these reckless fights can turn south, unfortunately. In RPG, they look so solid. They look so good. So many stacks being applied now already from Malthael, and now we see the redemption actually being fully stacked for Hanzo.
That's going to be useful, assuming he's able to stay alive, because once again, this is not a quest where once you complete it, you can just feed. It is a thing of you need to recomplete it if you die. You don't lose all of them. You only lose 3 stacks, I believe. But either way, that's still annoying.
It's very annoying because acquiring those stacks actually takes quite some time. Uh-oh, Jaina, you don't want to be there, friend. Are we going to see another kill? Oh, so close, actually, but she still ends up falling.
I think she survived long enough for the last rights to not proc, though.
I think so, too. I don't think it was a stack, because otherwise we probably would have seen it on the left-hand side as well.
Yeah. Oh, that was interesting. That's interesting. So good job by Jaina staying alive that long here.
All planned.
These Impalers begin to move in, pinging onto that tower.
Yeah, Jaina, by the way, going for Icy Veins at level 13. So that's a very aggressive talent choice, giving you mana, cooldown reduction, and stuff like that, so you can spam your abilities. But it also means that you don't have that many defensive tools available going for you in the first place. Say that Malthael, it really works out for them, doesn't it?
Malthael's, like, they are just trading him literally every time. They get a kill, he dies. It's just simple as that. The problem is, the later that game that goes, the less value Malthael will have, because his death time is longer. So he's going to get less value out of that cooldown reduction.
In theory, he does have that instant revive, though, if they want to go for that. So
that's true.
That is certainly interesting to observe here for now. We see Alexstrasza, by the way, going for Life Unbound at level 13. So the instant heal, which scales with max HP, is going to be pretty useful, especially if used on a target like Diablo. DSL in trouble, can't use the Concussion Mine to safety up to this point. Cleansing Flame arrives too late as well. And they actually help Free Show, who's permanently slowed by Jaina, and the stun goes through as well.
Abundance lands on Free Show, but he
no way.
Might escape this time. Nope, by Free Show.
No, he's still alive.
Not by Free Show. Not by Free Show. In the meantime, Master of the Black King did not see. Free Show is dueling Druid up here. Decade K fighting Malthael. Never mind, dead.
That was quite the chaotic fight, right? So, in the end, though, 3 versus 0. So, beyond the game with a big swing. However, they are going to lose that. Or... Nope, they're going to save it.
Yeah, saved. Saved by LLK.
Oh, man.
Nice wave clear.
That would have been a nice chunk of XP for RPG to catch up on.
Yeah. Also, I just realized I said this is familiar when I don't believe Malthael turned until Reaper of Souls, right?
Yeah.
So, post-Deckard.
All right, so, oh man, RPG, they're looking so good in all those team fights, but they fail, or up to this point, they weren't able to really capitalize on those victories, right? True, they did get 2 Punishers. True, they did win a couple of team fights as well. But if you look at the overall kill count, it's still 8-5 in favor of Beyond the Game. If you look in terms of structures, Beyond the Game is still not too far behind. So now that 16 is here for both teams, let's see what's going to happen. That top fort, by the way, died for Beyond the Game.
It was taken down indeed as RPG begin to move on to the point. BTG still ahead in experience, thanks to the kills they've been able to acquire. There's the anti-healing from the Emerald as they begin to dive onto the Alexstrasza. Going to finish her off by Lightning Breath once again. This time, Malthael gets nothing. He is going to be able to live, though. That is important. Yep. And Loctar gets finished off by MJ. I really thought that BTG were just going to dominate that, but Malthael escaping was huge there.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy. As you said, not only the survival by Malthael, but look at those concussion mines by DSL. He's getting kill after kill.
He landed Muradin into the steel trap under towers. In the meantime, Free Show in the backline, putting on the pressure. Finally has to back up a bit. Loctar will be back soon, making this a 3 versus 4, but RPG piling on the pressure again and again.
Well, I know we've got Hanzo in the game, right, Tetra? But sorry, that play of the game goes over to Junkrat if he continues to dominate like this. Absolutely wonderfully done here by DSL. We know how good of a player he is. If you guys remember Zhen Zhao and the legendary SBT Armada from 2016, that guy is just out of control. I would love to see a replay, actually, from that team fight.
As would I, but we're going to have to wait for that one after this game, as once again we're in 2-game series, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So this is the last game of this particular series, as the Punisher is killed off very fast by BTG.
Yeah. And once again, this is basically what I've been talking about, right? So they get these objectives, they get a couple of awesome fights, but when the objective is pushing alongside them, they fail to really, get the big damage in. That that middle fort is barely touched, and it's either because they have to retreat themselves because they took so much damage in the team fight, or because Beyond the Game is just superior at defending.
Loctar has been listening to Chicken too much, as he is going for Unyielding Despair and Crushing Hope. It's not the worst, it's not the SAR build of the Hardened Bones along with it. And he hasn't gone for any Drain, he's gone for Hopelessness instead of the Willing Vessel, which I really just don't like. But it's still not terrible. I mean, in theory, Burning Despair, it's still going to work very well with that at level 20, and he could go for Death March.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing, right? Death March could be insane, actually. Death March, in my opinion, is easily one of the most underrated talents in the game right now, especially in the pro level, which, if you land a good March of the Black King, dude, you're going to be so tanky. It's going to be so nice.
You're so tanky, you're doing so much percentage damage because it's it's a talented Drain Hope, right? So you can get that Crushing Hope on multiple people. So if you have that much crowd control to land that, you could gain a horrific amount of value, and that is in a good way.
Yeah, it used to be untalented, right? But ever since the changes to Leoric, it is now Drain Hope. In the tooltip, it doesn't say untalented, so that usually means it is a fully talented one. And with all those former talents invested into it, that could actually be insane. What is also insane is the fact that DSL, unfortunately, had to say goodbye, which takes a lot of wind out of the sails of RPG, right? So they're now going to have to wait, play extremely cautiously, and just grind their way up to 20. That's the only thing they can do right now.
Scatter Arrow finds no one. BTG find bot lane. They're looking for kills, but instead they're just going to be able to snipe this fountain quickly, using the Rainer's Raider to tank the shots. Then they move out. Very nice.
Yeah, the Raider is actually tankier than many people think it is, and it can be used, as we just saw it, to intercept aggro from buildings, which is pretty neat. If you take Duskwing at level 20, this Raider is going to be even tankier and hard to kill, so that's always one of those cute little plays that you can do, especially when your allies are nearby, to really take down structures. And believe it or not, with that Infernal Shrine being located in the middle, or in the bottom rather, this fountain could have made a big difference.
And it might. So there's still a fountain in mid, so this isn't the worst situation for RPG, but it's still one less fountain than they would have otherwise. So now it might actually, assuming that BTG can zone them away from that top fountain, it'll be even on fountains, because their mid one is dead and that's their bot. Move in.
Level 20 is here, Tetra. That fight is going to break out soon.
It's Death March. Free Show goes down. Riptire comes in. Huge damage. March the Black King hits several members, draining on Sapar. He marches forward, but doesn't get the Crushing Hope. And the Cleansing Flame comes out, keeping C alive. It's a 1-0 as Malthael was able to revive. Diablo, not so lucky. No souls.
Yeah, Diablo didn't have enough souls. He's going to go in a full death timer. And guess what? Locked on that Lyric. He's going to be back quicker than most other heroes. So this was a mighty fine trade for Beyond the Game. Look at the skeleton count though, 28, 29 to 16. Yeah. Malthael, he can't die. He can't afford to lose his life there. Can he actually revive?
80 seconds. He's already used it.
He's already used it.
Killed off at the same time. And DSL will survive. Locktar's going to be back, and in 5 seconds, so will his Heroic as well. But with only 3 heroes left on the board, DSL's already had to port back. They're just going to have to defend top and prepare to defend their prepare to defend their keeps.
Absolutely. As you said, top lane already being pushed in by those fallen shamans and the minions too. So if nobody had taken care of that, that would have been a dead tower gate line and maybe even a keep. So now bottom lane is basically open. A Ford is going to stall out the enemy team and buy a little bit more time for Malthael to revive. But if they have more staggered death now, which could easily happen while trying to defend the bottom, this might be a disaster for RPG. I think they might actually have to give up the bottom keep, depending on how fast, how quickly Beyond the Game is pushing.
They might have to, with Malthael dead for so long. See what they can do.
All heroics are do it.
Yeah, all heroics are back online for BTG, as they are for RPG as well. But the difference is RPG don't have a giant demon, as we do see BTG pushing in. Riptire being used in advance, going to try and use that to just do some damage to this Punisher. As that keep, like you said, is 100% going to die unless they're able to turn this fight around. Diablo tanking through all this, but the Lord Ado is good. Hellgate's out. Nicely done.
Yeah, Hellgate's out indeed. There is the Water Elemental being used early as well. The Punisher should stay at 40% health. This is a very ambitious core call, but if Diablo falls, they can maybe do it. He's got 60 enough souls though.
Death March focusing MJ and DSL, not enough for the kill. But actually 619 dropping very low. Lightning Grab picks up the kill. Malthael is now in the backline as well. Punisher is about to die. Core down to 72%. Down goes Diablo again. It's tank for tank. Punisher finally falls, but there's still Impalers on the core. Core down to 30%. And that is going to be it. The damage too high. And we see BTG taking game number 2. Taking the 2-0.